This is a report from the BCPP, the Breast Cancer Prevention Partners, and it looked at chemicals in standard products like Axe, Garnier, Old Spice, just anything you'd find on the shelf that a standard person would use, like you maybe. They looked at scientifically known carcinogens, respiratory disruptors, hormonal disruptors, and developmental disruptors, and they found a bunch of them in a bunch of products. So this is not hippie shit. This is me trying to prevent you from getting killed. And I'm not just talking about cancer. Cancer is not the main point. The main point is society has been brainwashed into poisoning itself. You're poisoning yourself, and I want you to stop doing that because you don't deserve to be poisoned. I don't want any human being on this planet to poison themselves unknowingly, okay? After watching this video and implementing everything, you'll be 10 times happier, you'll have 10 times more energy, and you'll be 10 times healthier. Before we delve into the heavy stuff, we need to talk about the brainwashing. Because you think you need to use deodorant and perfume and all of these things like body gel and shampoo so that you smell good and so that you're integrated into society, so that no one looks at you and thinks, this guy is weird, we need to avoid him. 1,000 years ago, they didn't use perfumes, they didn't use any shampoo, they didn't use any body gel, they didn't use any deodorant, frankly because none of these things existed. And only very rich people would use natural alternatives because they were rich, so they could afford those things. But for the majority of the population, humans interacted with each other, they bathed, they did this and they did that, but they didn't use any chemicals, okay? And that worked perfectly for them. And what do you think the diseases looked like 1,000 years ago? Do you think people got heart attacks and strokes, and that old people look the way old people look now, that children look as pale as they do now? Do you think that's the way society looked? We've only been using these chemical-filled things for the last 100 years, even less than that. So you're an experiment, and you're brainwashed, and that's why you keep doing what they want you to do. And let me tell you why they want you to do this. Because let's say you're the head of the soap industry, and you're earning lots of money because you're selling this cheap, toxic soap to everybody, and everybody's using it because they don't realize that there are far better alternatives that are far healthier, and that this thing that I'm using is actually toxic. Now, what do you think would happen to the soap, deodorant, shampoo, conditioner, and body gel industries if they suddenly convinced everybody, absolutely everybody, that you're weird and unnormal and you smell like shit if you don't use our products? What would happen to them? Everybody would start buying their products, and some people would make a lot of money, okay? And that's exactly why everybody's been taught, even me, everybody you look at, your parents, your friends, everybody you look on the street, that's why they've been taught to use shampoo and body gel and deodorant and perfumes, because it's socially unacceptable to not use these things. So some people have made huge amounts of money off of your health. Now, this is the most important section, because if you don't understand this phenomenon, you won't understand why these things are toxic, because you assume that the only way to consume something toxic is to consume it, to put it in your mouth. You think that if you drink perfume you get sick, but if you breathe it in you don't get sick, because it's smaller amounts, so somehow it won't affect you. Your body is a sponge. Anything you put on it will get absorbed, okay? Your skin absorbs. Your scalp is made of skin, so it absorbs. You breathe it in, it absorbs. You put it in your eyes, it absorbs, okay? Anything, even if you put something in your mouth and you don't swallow it, it will get absorbed through the walls of your mouth. And that's why the most important rule of hygiene is, if you can't put it in your mouth, don't put it on your skin, because it's the exact same thing. If you can't drink shampoo, you can't put it on your skin, okay? If you can't drink perfume, you shouldn't breathe it in, because it's ending up at the same place. Do you get that? It's going to end up inside of your body, inside of your organs, inside of your bloodstream, whether you breathe it in or you drink it. It's just that the quantity matters, okay? The perfume industry knows that in small enough amounts, they'll get sick, they'll get headaches, they'll feel this, they'll feel that, they'll get less energy, they'll develop diseases in the future, but they won't have to go to the hospital immediately. They won't develop big problems that will affect us financially. And so now you realize that at the end of the year, whatever it is that you used from a hygiene perspective, all of that accumulated inside of your body. So at the end of the year, It's like you took a shampoo bottle and you squeezed it inside of your mouth. You got all of those chemicals inside of you. They didn't just touch your hair, just touch your skin. They got absorbed into the body. As you could see in the beginning, most of the stuff that most people use contains carcinogens and respiratory disruptors and the like. You might not really understand this unless I give you examples. So let's look at styrene. Styrene is something that's gasoline-like, and they put it in perfumes to make the perfume last longer, so that the smell lasts longer. This is a known human carcinogen. Styrene won't just give you cancer, it will make you depressed. It messes up your nervous system, it messes up your brain so you'll become dumber and more sluggish. It causes liver damage and kidney damage. It will make your life horrible. And styrene is only one of the many ingredients that are very toxic that are found in perfume. Mind you, we're just talking about perfume here. The next chemical is benzaldehyde, and benzaldehyde can be found in literally everything. Shampoo, deodorant, fragrances, body gel, washing detergent, and this chemical has been shown to cause nausea, drowsiness, kidney damage, respiratory failure, nervous system damage, cancer. Let me tell you about some more chemicals which will destroy your kidneys and your liver and your brain and make you depressed. Phthalates, camphor, BHT, ethylene glycol, methylene chloride, benzyl acetate, acetaldehyde, ethyl acetate, limonene, linalool, oxybenzone. Depending on the product, you might find these, you might not find these, but still, the chemicals that you find in these products are equally as toxic. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So please, throw everything away. And if you don't know what to throw, let me tell you. All your perfumes, all your deodorants, all your body soaps, all your shampoos, all your skin products, including your sunscreen, because you need natural sunscreen, because these ingredients are also found in sunscreen, unfortunately. There are no exceptions, by the way, so shaving gel, lip balm, and makeup will also contain these ingredients. Toothpaste will unfortunately also contain these ingredients, so you need to throw that out, and your washing detergent, because that also includes these ingredients. And if that gets on your clothes, and you put your clothes on, you're exposed to the same chemicals, which will lead to depression and nervous system disorders. And now, my friend, now we get to the point where I show you what I do. My alternatives, because I've been doing this for a very long time. I've been chemical free for a very long time, and so my suggestions are going to be extra good because I allow nothing bad into myself. I'm very strict with the products, so the things that I'm going to recommend are going to be very, very good. Let's start with body soap. So body soap is obviously the stuff that lathers up and you use it on your body. So the stuff you use in your armpits, not the deodorant, but in the shower, that's body gel, that's body soap. I use Aleppo soap. I use bar soaps. Now, you might think that, aha, I already used that. But you're wrong. If you have vitamin E oil or some kind of fragrance in the bar soap, or more than 2 ingredients, 2 or 3 ingredients, throw it away, okay? Because if it says fragrance, that might be a fragrance that comes from the list that I just mentioned. They don't have to list the ingredients within the fragrance. They just have to write fragrance, okay? And if there's any vitamin E oil in there, then the thing is, that's probably synthetic. All vitamin E oil is going to be synthetic. And you don't want that on your body because that itself is pollution. You want your vitamin E to come from natural oils because natural oils contain a bunch of vitamin E, okay? So, I use Aleppo soap. It comes from Aleppo. They've been making soap for hundreds of years. They're a very old soap maker. I have access to it through the internet here in Sweden. You probably also have access to it. As I said, it's only 2 ingredients. It's made from olive oil and some other oil that I can't remember, but the other oil really helps with removing fat and grease because that's what soap does. It removes fat and grease. If you've got something that's water soluble on your hands, then use water. If there's something greasy, then you use soap. Soap is unnecessary unless something is fat soluble, okay? So never use soap unless you're trying to remove something fat soluble from your body. Now the hardest one for many people, and the one that takes the most effort, is a deodorant. But thankfully I found something that is really, really good. You see, we can't make it so that we don't perspire. Antiperspirants, that stuff is toxic. That stuff is inherently toxic because you shouldn't stop sweating. Okay, if your body wants to sweat, you shouldn't stop that. However, you can make your armpits smell nice, and the way I do this is by using argan oil. You see, cold pressed argan oil smells a little bit minty. It smells nice and it's very light, so it doesn't stain your clothes, and you know, it's not a thick feeling you have in your armpits. It just leads to a nice smell and it's barely noticeable, even if you put it on your face or your neck as a fragrance. So I just put argan oil in my armpit, and I feel like that really helps with how my armpit smells and how it feels. If you want a deodorant that will smell better, then you can mix the argan oil or any carrier oil with the essential oil of your choice. Ideally a base note, and I'll be talking about that later, but ideally a base note mixed with the carrier oil, and then, you know, you can just make the mixture in your hand. You just pour the carrier oil, like castor oil or argan oil, and then the essential oil, the thing that smells really strong. You put like 1 or 2 drops in your hand, bam, armpits, 1, 2, you're done. And mind you, when you use this kind of deodorant, you'll actually be absorbing stuff that your body can utilize. The fatty acids within castor oil or argan oil are actually healthy, and your body will absorb them through the armpit, and whatever junk you had there before will get pulled out until, you know, you're just feeding your body with nice nutrients. Fun story, but when I made the transition many years ago, I put castor oil in my armpit and I felt like it was burning, and this went away, but the castor oil was actually removing all the junk that the deodorant had put beneath the skin in my armpit. As a moisturizer, you should use animal fat or any oil really. You can use argan oil, you can use castor oil, but castor oil is a bit too thick. If you want to put something on your face and make it so that it's not noticeable and it smells nice and it's light, then use argan oil. That's the best thing I've found. But if you want something that really, you know, gives you a good effect, gives you really nice skin, really moisturizes the skin, go for beef tallow, raw bone marrow, raw butter, anything that's very nutrient rich, because those nutrients are going to be absorbed into the skin. You know how the skincare companies put vitamin A and vitamin E into their products? Well, the thing is, if you take food that has much higher quality vitamin A and vitamin E in much better quantities without anything toxic, and you put that on your skin, then imagine how much better your skin will look. How about shampoo? What should you put on your head to, you know, clean your hair? Because again, the healthiest thing would just to be walking around with the natural oils that your scalp produces. You just have greasy hair, but society doesn't like greasy hair, and it's not accepted to have greasy hair, so I understand that both me and you need to remove the grease. So here's the thing, I use eggs, but eggs can be a bit too drying. So lately I've been using the Aleppo soap. I went back to the Aleppo soap, and what I do is I take the bar soap, I wet my hair, and then I go with the bar soap, because it's a hassle to just, you know, lather it up in your hand and then put it in your hair. That will take forever. So you go with the soap like this, bam, 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 and then you go in with your hands and you distribute everything. And then I wash it out, and then I put apple cider vinegar in my hand, like this, 3 times. I let the apple cider vinegar sit in my hair, and then I wash it out, and all the grease went away. This is one method. Another method is using bicarbonate. I know Cottage Remedies, Amelie, she uses that method. I haven't tried it. It might work. I've used clay. Clay works really well, but it's a hassle, because, again, if you use bentonite clay, that stuff will clog your pipes. So you'll have to wash your head above the toilet. But in most cases, if you've got short hair, just use apple cider vinegar and water. You don't need anything else. Trust me, you don't need anything else. I have long hair, so just like the girls, I have to think about these things. And again, Aleppo soap works great, eggs work great, and for some people who don't really get greasy hair, you can just get away with water and apple cider vinegar. Because again, when you stop washing your hair with a bunch of chemicals that strip away the oils very aggressively, then your body says, okay, I don't have to produce as much to compensate for the fact that the oils always get stripped, so you'll produce less grease overall. Alright, how about perfumes? Well, this one is easy. You use essential oils. And I want you to understand a little thing about essential oils. They are very concentrated, so you don't want to put them on your skin. You can dilute them, or you can put them on your clothes. But you know, you put drops on your hands, you do this, and then you put them on your clothes. And that should work. But to make them last long, you have to know a little bit about essential oils. So there are top notes, middle notes, and base notes. This one lasts the shortest. Top notes last the shortest. Again, you've got top notes, middle notes, and then you've got base notes. And base notes last the longest. And an example of a base note would be cedarwood essential oil. And so if you use base notes, they will last the longest, okay? So buy a base note essential oil, put like 2 drops in your hand, do this, put it on your clothes so that it's not on your skin, unless you want to use a carrier oil, and voila, you smell amazing, and you're not killing yourself, you're not getting cancer in the process. Skincare is very easy. I like to divide it up into 2 things, masks and oils. And oils are the thing that you're going to be using the most. The rule is, use food, okay? So what I use is butter, olive oil, bone marrow when I have it. If I've eaten a meal with my hand and I have fat left in my hand, I sometimes wipe that on my face. That's just free raw beef fat rendered on my hand because it melted because of my body temperature. Any cold pressed, unprocessed oil will work. And the ones that you can eat, those are the ones you want to use on your face. You want nutrients. The most nutrient dense stuff is going to make your face or your skin in general glow the most. So butter, as an example, is more nutrient dense than olive oil, but they have different properties. So generally speaking, butter is going to be better, but olive oil might give you some effect that the butter doesn't give you. And it might be more convenient to use olive oil because butter can start stinking a bit. And I'm guessing you know what a mask is. You take food and you mix it up, let's say butter and clay or cacao or banana, I don't know. You mix that up. Then you apply the paste to your face. You leave that on for half an hour to 6 hours or overnight. I don't care, but your bed might get messy. And then you wash it off. My favorite mask is a calcium bentonite clay mask, and that's because it's very absorbent. So with the other masks, they give nutrients to your face, while clay absorbs all of the gunk out. So it's more of a detoxifier, if you want to call it that. It also does give minerals to your face. There are heavy metal concerns, but generally speaking, I haven't had an issue with that. That is an issue if you want to consume it though. I leave it on until it gets uncomfortable because this stuff really tightens up your face, and then I put butter on my face after I've washed it off. And that combination, out of all the things I've tried, nothing makes my face look smoother and nicer. However, this is a hassle because calcium bentonite clay clogs up your pipes. So what you do instead is you use something that's water soluble. Now, a face mask recipe that's very easy and simple that I stumbled upon a little while ago from the TikTok page of Veronica is you take 2 tablespoons of honey, 2 tablespoons of cacao, and half a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. I tried this, it does work. Will make your skin glow and will make it smooth, but it's not nearly as powerful as calcium bentonite clay, and that's because of the pulsating effect that calcium bentonite clay has on your face. It really increases the blood flow, and it also absorbs stuff and it smooths out everything. Now, if you want to be a skincare world champion and you want super duper ultra skin, and I haven't done this by the way, but this is a tool I'll give you. You do calcium bentonite clay, then you put on the mask I just described, then you wash that off. Of course, you wash the calcium bentonite clay off before you put on the mask I just gave you the recipe for. And then when you wash off the mask that's made out of cacao and honey and apple cider vinegar, you oil your face. Oh my god. Now let's replace the skin cancer causing cream with something more natural. Of course, I'm talking about sunscreen. Now, first you have to realize that for most days you don't need to use sunscreen. If you live in a place where the UV index goes above 8 and you're going to be outside for more than 6 hours and you're light-skinned, then you can start to use sunscreen. But for most people, especially if you live in a Nordic country or most European countries, except for the ones in the south, you don't have to use sunscreen. Seriously, especially if your skin is dark. If your skin is dark, do not use sunscreen because you won't be getting enough vitamin D. Now, before I give you the recipe, you need to understand something. If you build your skin out of junk food, your skin will be junk at protecting you from the sun. If you build your skin out of really healthy food, you'll have really healthy and strong skin that will tan in the sun. If it becomes red, you're eating garbage. If it's brown, you're eating good stuff. Anyone who I've talked to who switches their diet to something that is nutrient-dense, animal-based, with lots of animal fats instead of hydrogenated vegetable oils, they start to tan in the sun, even if they have a history of getting burnt in the sun. And this is mainly because the fatty acid ratios within your skin have to be more saturated than unsaturated. If you eat a bunch of unsaturated fat, you'll get unsaturated fat in your skin. your skin will be built out of unsaturated fat. And so what happens is unsaturated fat is far more reactive than saturated fat. And remember, saturated fat comes from animals, so animals are built out of saturated fat. That's why you find saturated fat in animal fat. So I hope that makes sense. I hope that tells you that you should be made out of saturated fat. And so when your skin is built out of saturated fat and the sun hits it, it won't react. It will be protected. It won't burn. The cell won't explode. And so you'll get vitamin D without getting any skin damage. Here's a natural sunscreen recipe for you, courtesy of Veronica. I found it on her TikTok page. Go check it out if you want to. Or you stay here and you watch my videos. But anyway, you mix beef tallow with coconut oil and then you pour in some zinc oxide. And it has to be non-nano, so the particles are going to be big enough to not penetrate your skin. So the zinc oxide will stay outside of your skin. It will just sit on it and it will protect you against UV radiation. Again, if you're going to be outside for a very long time under very strong sun. Now how about washing detergent? Because this is one of the biggest culprits of skin issues and brain fog and nervous system damage and organ damage and cancer and whatever you want to call it. Because it's all the same really, it's just damage to your cells. Now I'm going to give you 3 alternatives. All of them are really good. So in many cases you wash clothes, but you don't actually need detergent because your clothes aren't really dirty, they don't contain any stains, they're just a little bit smelly because of the sweat from your armpits or something like that. In many cases you can just use water. Water will remove all of that because to some degree sweat is water soluble. The salts within the sweat are water soluble, so you don't need anything that's going to dissolve the fat. The second thing you can use is white vinegar. Now white vinegar will remove stains, it will remove any smell, it will, clean the clothes. It's just like soap, but it's vinegar. And it won't leave your clothes smelling like vinegar. It will leave them smelling nice. However, my father says that the vinegar might be too acidic for the washing machine. So, of course, he doesn't let me use vinegar. So I needed to find another alternative. And this is the alternative that I think is the best. So there's something called washing nuts. You crack the nut open. It looks like a little walnut. You crack it open. And you put like 3 of these in a bag, a little cotton bag, and then you tie the bag up, the cotton bag. And then you throw this into, the dirty laundry, and you put the washing machine on, you turn it on. And this bag will create soap. So it will soap up everything and it will clean it, and it's completely natural. It's just a plant. And you don't put anything in the washing detergent thingy. You just put this bag together with the clothes when you're washing them. And this leaves the clothes smelling really nice. They become really clean. With hygiene comes dental hygiene. So we need to talk about your teeth. Here's the thing. You have to realize that the toothpaste that you're using contains the chemicals that you're going to find in all the other cosmetics. So yes, you're going to get cancer if you use toothpaste. And this is not just something that you're putting on your skin. You're putting it in your mouth, so it's much more easily absorbed. And if you, wash your mouth and then you drink water, all of those residues, chemical residues that are on your mouth, they'll enter into your digestive system and they'll be absorbed into your bloodstream. And your kidneys and your brain and your nervous system and your liver will have to deal with that. But the biggest problem is, of course, fluoride. Fluoride is a neurotoxin. It's a known neurotoxin, but for some reason we allow it in our products and we allow children to put fluoride-filled toothpaste in their mouths. Have you thought about why a certain historical figure with a very peculiar mustache put fluoride inside of the drinking water of a certain people that he didn't like inside of their concentration camps? Have you thought about that? Well, I think it's because he's trying to control them, isn't he? He's trying to fry their nervous system so that they can't think anymore. Well, I mean, he did that to a group of people that he really didn't like. But people are doing that for free. To themselves, not to other people, to themselves, twice a day, and they're paying money for it. They're paying money to put the same thing inside of their mouths that the guy with the mustache put in the drinking water of the people he hated the most. My God, okay, the solution is this. You take a toothpaste and you brush your teeth. You don't actually need any toothpaste. And there are many natural alternatives you could use. Don't buy them, make it yourself, okay? There's clay. You can use clay, natural clay that you can eat, like kaolin clay. That's my recommendation. You've got bicarb. You can use bicarb if it's, you know, heavy metal free and it's high quality and organic and all of that. You can use that. But again, I just use water. I don't use anything. And I have no problems. Last time I went to the dentist, they said you have no cavities, you have no problems with your teeth, nothing. And I haven't used toothpaste for 4 years now. Now for mouthwash, this is what you do. You take coconut oil or olive oil or butter or any other fat that is unprocessed, and you oil pull with it. You put it in your mouth, you swish it around for 15 to 20 minutes, or you don't have to swish it around, you just put it in your mouth so that it covers your teeth during that period, and then you spit it out. And what it does is it really cleans out your mouth, it makes your breath smell good, it you know, prevents cavities, heals the gums, does everything that you'd want toothpaste to do, but toothpaste obviously does the opposite. Now lastly, we've got shaving, and the thing here is that this is just for cosmetic purposes. Shaving isn't actually something that's important or will make you smell better, it's just something that alters the way you look. Now here's the thing, most of the shaving that you want to do can be replaced by trimming. You can trim with scissors, and scissors don't contain any toxic chemicals, they're just a mechanical tool that clips off your hair. And so for my beard, I only use scissors. I use a trimmer, but I use an electrical trimmer. So here's the thing, you use electric stuff for shaving because it won't irritate the skin. Even if you use natural shaving cream, like an egg for example, or coconut cream, or whatever it might be really, that is very smooth and glides really well. I've used oil in the past, that also works. Even if you use those things, the razor is still made of metal and you'll get metal into your skin and you're scraping the skin. That's never a good thing. Again, my recommendations are: 1, you just trim with scissors, that's it. 2, the second best thing, an electrical trimmer. EMF is a problem, electromagnetic frequencies are a problem, because the thing you're using is going to be very close to your head, or very close to your beard, or very close to your balls or your vagina, your ovaries. They're right there, but it's much better than using chemicals. And the last alternative is to just shave normally. You can still do that, that's alright, but you do it with something protective. So first you put oil, like castor oil or argan oil or olive oil, on your skin, and then you put on an egg, the egg white mainly, on your skin, and then you shave. And you shave very slowly and carefully. And those three, you can choose between them, but ultimately, and this is the shaving pill, you don't need to shave. No human in nature is going to shave or trim their stuff really, unless they say, okay, well this is annoying, so they take a knife and they cut it off. Now obviously, if you're single, you don't need to shave your armpits or your genitals that much. But if you're in a relationship and both of you are shaving those parts, then I would recommend this. Tell your partner to not shave, but you also get to not shave. So both of you don't shave, so you level the playing field. And so instead of both of you shaving, none of you shave. Okay, let's be honest. You're watching this video not just because you want natural alternatives, but ultimately we do hygiene in modern society because we don't want to smell bad, because that's a disadvantage, especially socially. So here's the thing. You have to understand that hygiene and body odor comes from your diet. So your sweat will smell differently, your body will smell differently, your mouth will smell differently depending on what you eat. The most important factor is not brushing your teeth and taking showers every day. The most important factor is what you're eating, because that will determine how your body is going to smell all the time. So there are people who take showers, they shower twice a day, yet they smell like shit, and that's because their food is shit. Their body's constantly throwing out a bunch of shit that smells like shit. Their sweat is always stinky, while you can take a person who showers once a week, and they might not even smell. They might smell pleasantly. Why? Because their body odor reflects what they're eating. And it's the same with your mouth. In most cases, if you have a smelly mouth, the smell is coming from your digestive system. It's coming from your stomach and it's going up and going out. Rarely is it just the mouth. Again, Mother Nature is very logical. If you eat unhealthy food and you become unhealthy, will make you smell unhealthy. If you're healthy and you eat healthy food, will make you smell healthy. And if you want to know what to eat, I have a PDF called the 10 Dietary Rules, which gives you the 10 dietary rules that make nutrition simple. Rather than giving you cookie cutter stuff, I give you the principles that any type of diet should follow. And if you enjoy the way I write, if you think that that document really helped you, then I've got the 6 Health Commandments. And this is a book that tells you about what health actually is, what controls whatever is healthy, what the principle is, what is it that governs health. And of course, if you have that, then anything you analyze from a health perspective will be very easy. Go and achieve nice smelling balls. I know you can do it.